I hear the voices inside my head, see voices behind the wall, uplifting the underdog, we fighting above the law.
Yeah.
Hi, everyone. Hey, Mr. Positive. Can you guys hear us? Hey, Shell. Hey, C12. Hey, Ann. Zena. Catalin. Shell. Charm. Hey. Hey, Jordan. Thanks for posting that, by the way. Foxy Lady. Good to see you. I miss seeing you. Tiffany. Zena. Crystal. Sweet D. Everybody. Mr. Positive. Mandy. Hey, Kayla. Hello from Manitoba. Whoa.
Manitoba.
It's like cold in Manitoba too. It has to be cold.
Yeah, it'd be pretty much the same as here.
Hey, KCK.
What's up, Ina?
Sherry. Ina.
Leah.
I'm going to give it a few minutes here. Bobby will be calling in
Bobby.
anytime, and like he might be closer to 7:30. I'm not sure. So he's got the link. He'll call in when he can. But that gives me some time to kind of do. I'm going to have Mr. Cher do a quick overview of this case for you guys.
Damn it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so July 9th, 2004, Courtney Struble, the girl in the icon you see, vanished somewhere between 11 p.m. and 1 a.m. She was reportedly seen in town, but we haven't been able to verify that. There have been a few people we've talked to and interviewed, and stories don't exactly line up. We aren't saying we have a suspect or anything like that, but there's been some major problems. And it seems like the more we find out, the more problems there are. That's pretty much the long and the short of it. We had a girl who's been missing for 17 years, and her birthday is actually coming up pretty quick.
Yeah, on the 22nd, and we're gonna do an all-day stream, a marathon for her. We're gonna do 90s theme, so I actually told people dress up in the 90s. If you're gonna call in panel, get your best 90s gear on, and whatever you can put on of blue and green, which are the colors that were her two favorite colors that we were given. Barbie baby, Lori, Autumn, hello, hey everyone, hey you.
I agree, Zena. Somebody does.
Somebody for sure knows.
Angel food cake.
Yep, we're gonna make angel food cake while live because that was her favorite cake. So yeah, she was a few months away from being 14 at the time of her. Well, I'm not sure why we're calling disappearance because RCMP has it labeled as a suspicious murder. So, she was only 13, 4 months away from being 14. And so on the 22nd of this month, 2 days before my birthday and 1 day after my oldest daughter's birthday, Courtney will be 31 years old. So over half of her life, she has been gone, missing. So.
What's up, Jay?
Jay for justice. She's blue, right?
Yep.
Yeah. I love seeing those hearts in there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so a quick rundown of all the interviews we have done so far. And again, I just want to do a reminder, all thoughts and theories are welcome with respect. Like, we can't try to do anything, work together, like if we're not, bringing everybody's ideas and thoughts to table. Like, that's why we're doing this. We want everyone to help and work together. who was the first interview? I guess we did Kendra, which was the girl that she spent the night with the night before her disappearance. And it was said that she was supposed to be spending the night again at this girl Kendra's house. However, Kendra was unaware that Courtney would be spending the night that Friday night at her house. And so was I think her dad, or did her dad know that?
I think he thought that she was.
Oh, yeah, her dad. So what had happened was Courtney was supposed to be at Kendra's house. She was allowed to spend the night there Thursday night, and then Friday night had asked if she could spend another night there. And Dad thought, yeah, why not? It's summer vacation, go ahead. And they were in the middle of packing and moving, so Mr. Struble thought, yeah, sure, go hang out with your friends, right? And the thing is he had ended up looking for her. Kendra was unaware that she had asked to spend the second night. Now, that's when we start hearing a mess of different things, that she was with her boyfriend and then she walked back to her dad's house, but she wasn't supposed to be spending that night at her dad's house. She was supposed to be spending it at Kendra's house, according to what Courtney had told her dad and Kendra. But her boyfriend and the friends group, the boyfriend's brother, and the best friend, NICOLE, all believed her to be staying at Kendra's house. So all these friends of hers somehow know that the plans are her to stay at Kendra's. So Dad didn't know and Kendra didn't know. And that's kind of where we're at today. All of the friends still say that. Now, Sam has emailed me, and I've read the email on here. It's very long. I do have to turn that into a video. But the boyfriend, Sam, has still not come forward for an interview or statement or anything. Neither has the brother, who Courtney's boyfriend, Sam, and his brother's name is Thomas. And even Thomas said that he had offered her a ride. So right now, it sounds as though the boyfriend's brother was the last person that we are aware of to see Courtney. Now, there's a whole bunch of other weirdness in here, like hanging out at a veterinary clinic after hours with no adult supervision, police questioning and ransacking and searching in the middle of the night with no adults present with these teenagers, but not getting them in trouble for being at a veterinary clinic after hours with no parents around, like all sorts of weird stuff. Was there a 6-foot fire pit? Was there not a 6-foot fire pit? There's been a lot of changes in stories, even from were you interrogated to did you have lie detector tests? That went from yes, several, yes, oh, a bunch of times, to no, not really. So the other important thing, to do a quick rundown of this case, is to remind everybody, and if there's anyone new, at the time of her disappearance, because Courtney had prior ran away, like, a bunch of other times, she'd never stay away longer than like a half a day, according to her best friend. But because she did often do that, Courtney's case was never treated properly from day one. It was treated as though, oh, she'll run away. She ran away. She'll come back. For 5 months. 5 months. And then there was friends of Courtney's. Now, the friends group will all say that it was all friends of Melissa and Mark's calling in and making false, like, what was it? Like saying that they saw Courtney and she was here, she was there. So false sightings and false reportings on seeing Courtney. It turns out it was Courtney's friends doing that. And the RCMP's reason for that is that they were trying to be protective of Courtney so that she wouldn't get in trouble if she ran away. So you could look at it like that, since she has a past of running away, or that could actually be a red flag. And I'm seeing it as both, a little bit of both. We hear the same song and dance every time these cold cases. She will come back, yada, yada. Yeah. 5 months, nothing was taken seriously. So none of these friends were actually really questioned or interrogated, because they were just like, do you know where Courtney is? No, she ran away. Like, they just treated it as she ran away, she'll be back. For 5 months. So then Child Find, I believe it's called, got a hold of the case, and then they kind of questioned the friends. But now we're getting different stories on, well, did you take a polygraph or did you not? And if you heard on Saturday when we sat down with Nicole, she told everybody, no, we didn't really get interrogated. You guys all heard Courtney's best friend even say, no, not really. We didn't really get interrogated. We didn't really get talked to. So they haven't really done any of that. So you'll read reports where the kids group were all cleared, but like Mr. Sheriff says, how can they be cleared when they didn't even question anybody? They didn't even treat this as a missing person, and it wasn't even now treated as a suspicious murder until I believe 2017. I think, or maybe a little earlier than that, but it was several years later. It went from runaway for the first 5 months to, oh my goodness, I think she might be missing after 5 months. She might be a missing girl now. Yeah, they didn't take it seriously at all. I'm actually getting upset even talking about it. She was 13. 48 hours are super important. Absolutely. Perhaps 2010. That's what yeah. Tammy, I've missed you. Love you. For a 13-year-old young girl. So, the one thing I did not really like is that, hey, lipstick.
I agree, Tennessee Shine.
We need laws change. A child 17 and under goes missing automatically. So, yeah, it should be automatically an Amber Alert, 17 and under. Especially with girls, because we know exactly what's happening. Benny's, he's alive. I'm not going to say he's doing good because that's a lie, but he's been in touch with Mr. Cher a lot more. So them two are talking, and, he's alive. Is he well? No, I can't really say that. He's going through a rough time in life. So prayers up for him, please. Never seen a vigil myself until years later. That's pretty sad, Zena. Here in Florida, they file the report immediately. If you are 25 and under, there is no time limit. That is how it should be.
Yeah.
That's how it should be. Hello, Tony. Yeah. So again, there's a couple people I didn't get a chance to mod yet. I might, if I see them in there, just so that I know that they can't be blocked or timed out. I just want to make sure, because again, I'll remind everybody, locals are watching this. Courtney's dad is here every show, stepmom, mom, aunt, best friends, like her whole family. Locals here, please keep it respectful, but please also be open about any questions and what's on your mind. Just do it respectfully, because knowing that loved ones are watching. Again, it's been rough for the family, even outside, like behind the scenes, for all of these years. Like Bobby, who we're interviewing, thought one thing for almost 2 decades. He thought this one way until the last month or so, really until we kind of started digging into this, and then he started digging in more and really questioning everything he was being told by different people. So now the one thing that he thought for damn near 2 decades, he is actually like, wait a minute, I might have been tunnel visioned on this. Thank you, Punksy. Love you, girl. So I think that says a lot, and that's one of the reasons I'm very excited for you guys to hear him. And he's been been waiting his turn very patiently, because he's wanted to talk from day one, but we knew the minute he started unraveling things, and I started unraveling things, and then Benny started unraveling things, and we were all talking in group chats, so we kind of knew, oh shit, everybody's stories are now different than what they've been in the last 17 years, and even different from what they've all told each other, if that makes sense to you guys. Yeah, but that so can. So now some people are realizing, oh shit, this isn't what you're saying now today to share and on YouTube's isn't what you told me a year or two ago. You know what I'm saying? So, it's been interesting. And so I want to say, if Nicole B is in here, please do not block her or anything, because that's the best friend. Jane Alberts, she is Courtney's aunt. Please do not block her or time her out. And no matter what they say, because their emotions are going to be higher. Melissa, Mr. Struble is blue because I made him a mod right away when I could, like weeks ago. So he won't be able to get timed out or blocked. But yeah, just be mindful. We understand, their emotions are very high. And again, they've even being able to allow each other, because I've told them, like, you may not like what's coming out of this person's mouth or that person's mouth, but everyone needs their turn to talk. And all of them are understanding about that. So that kind of tells me a lot, too, that they're willing to be like, okay, let them have their turn to talk. And, if they want their turn, they get it. So, I do want to just say to the family and friends, though, I know, emotions are going to be high. Your comments are welcome, but just try not to attack each other. Not that you try to or anything. It's just that I know, like, everyone's emotions are high for everyone who is Courtney's loved one. So,
Thanks, Crystal.
Crystal, you are awesome. Thank you. Prayers to her family. Yes. Do you guys have any questions before Bobby gets up here? Mm-hmm.
Hey, Nani.
Naughty. What side of the family is he from? So Bobby is Courtney's dad, Mr. Struble's cousin. So he would be Courtney's second cousin, I believe.
Oh,
Sharon, thank you so much.
you're
Very
awesome,
nice of
Sharon.
you. Is this bringing the immediate family closer? It is. No, but it's kind of left them being open to allowing each other to talk and being open to wanting to hear what each other are saying, at least through these interviews. And that's a step, I think. And that's a lot better than what we've seen in any other cases, right? Where you've got family members actually just going on and trashing each other.
True.
We haven't had that yet.
Lori.
Lori, thank you. Wow, you guys are very sweet. Yeah, I mean, they definitely have disagreements, and they definitely, all have their own theories and thoughts and opinions, but they don't go on all these other channels and bash each other and try and make each other look bad. No, they are all actually like, yeah, let's hear each other talk. Like, I want to hear what they have to say, and I think that's great. They do come to me like, well, they said this and this and this, but blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, just, it's okay, and they've all been like, you're right, just people talking and being able to hear what they say, and does their stuff match up from what they've said all these years. They're all, I think they all are being very open. There's a lot of damage on both sides of the family and all together. So no, I mean, is it bringing them back together and meshing them? No, but I do hope that maybe we can help in that and just keep finding answers all together. Because I think if there is closure in this, that could be a huge step for them to start to heal like that. Cotton candy boobs! Thank you. Yeah, one person's truth could be the lead that is needed. Yep.
That's what we're hoping for.
Because you never know, even just the silliest little thing that one of them even knows that might not even think, oh, this has nothing to do with it at all. This is not helpful to anything, but you don't know. We don't know because we're not, detectives and stuff. But
Hey, Diane.
Diane, hey. Did you see the human trafficker? I did see that. I kind of thought it was weird timing, and I actually had a a comment typed out and deleted it because I was going to be like, yeah, did they have summer? Have you heard any more from Sam since that last email? I have not. No, I've heard from Sam through other people, but no, not personally since the email. And I don't think he wrote that email.
Hey, Samantha.
Yes, Queen. Hey, Samantha. 157 people in here tonight. I think that might be a record. I can't remember, but I think so. That's a lot for a case that's not high profile. Very proud of you guys.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Jan! I think I saw you in here before, but I don't know if I said hi. Chaos Queen. 159. Thomas has not come and talked at all yet. No. No. And I don't really like that. Do the two sides of the family blame the other? In a way, yes. I mean, one side does blame the other. So mom's side kind of blames dad's side, and there's just all sorts of past family history between everybody. Like two brothers married two sisters, and then, you know, divorces and angry family history, unfortunately, that streams back before Courtney even went missing. It's more like one side blames dad and stepmom, and then everyone, I kind of think, questions a little more into the children. But I think dad and stepmom definitely question the friends. So yeah. But it's not really like a mom side versus a dad side in this one. No. Jen says hi.
There you go.
Thank you, Crime Web. Tammy Ayo. I'm texting Bobby.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Shoot, didn't give me a reminder. Sorry, I'm late. That's okay. The reminders, I think, for everybody's channels kind of suck. Yep, thumbs up or thumbs down if you're a sourpuss. Yep, either way, it's helpful. Hit whatever one you want. Now, let me see here if I can find just where's that child find? Oops. Where are you going? Oh, okay. Hey, Jazzy.
Jesse.
Christine, thumbs down. Jesus. Okay. Okay. I'm trying to see here. How can I... Babe, stop. Hey, Kara. Kara Liz. Just got notified. Yeah, I'm no sourpuss. This is Saskatchewan. Estevan, Saskatchewan. Okay. Let's see here. Let's see here. Hoping for answers in Courtney's case. Ah, thanks, Jay. You are awesome. Hopefully a fuller awareness of events can soften bitter feelings. That would be, yeah, I mean, that's the hope when, here comes the sun. Hello. I am going to, I'm just going to mute for 1 minute, guys, because I'm going to call Bobby. I know he was taking a nap, so he might be like oversleeping. So I'm just gonna, I'm sorry. Talk amongst yourselves. I'm just gonna mute for a moment here, and I am going to call Bobby, okay? Okay, guys. All right. Bobby! Okay, there he goes. There he goes. All right, we're gonna take a minute here, you guys, and I'm gonna play something for you. I won't be able to see it, but I'll play so you can hear it. It's been 15 long years of not knowing what happened to Courtney Struble. She was last seen in a gray hoodie and blue jeans. Courtney has a birthmark on her neck and a scar on her shin. Nicole Burkholder grew up with her and has spent half of her life without closure. At times, she can't help but fear the worst. It's one of those things where you don't want to think of something like that because it's just hard to think of her gone. But, it's just like within 15 years, you kind of have to, you hold on to hope, but at the same time, you almost have to mourn that person. Like many, she has often tried to figure out what happened. Courtney was watching movies at a friend's place on the outskirts of Estevan.
She declined a ride home that night, choosing to walk. Investigators believe she made it back to the city, but that's where the trail ends. Burkholder believes that someone knows something. Courtney was at first considered a runaway. The teen was known to have troubles at home, but countless tips seem to be nothing more than rumor. RCMP reviewed the file years after the disappearance, finding that the teen was likely to have been a victim of homicide. The RCMP also believe that someone knows something.
We're missing those pieces of that puzzle, and we haven't found her yet, and 15 years is a long time. And how we're going to get those pieces, I don't know, other than the person who knows what's going on. Even if they don't know what's relevant to them, if they come forward to us, we know where that piece maybe lies in that puzzle, and it can push forward an investigation. Sometimes all it takes is one phone call, and they can change the whole scope of an investigation.
No, that was not me. Sorry, Bobby's texting. He said he just woke up, so give him a few minutes. He was like, is it too late to try and do it tomorrow? I said, yes. So he's going to take a few minutes here, and he'll be in here. Well, let me go back to the reports, though, for a minute here. All right, let me turn my ringer on. I want to play the child find one. Dun, 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 dun. Yes. Oh my gosh, Robin Lane showed up in the thing for Courtney Struble. That's wild. That is wild. That used to be the first one that would pop up, and now it's gone. All right, well, I'm going to play the CBS one more time. And she was offered that ride by her boyfriend's brother. Jessica, you had a question. Okay. Why did they say likely a homicide with no body or evidence? Sorry, not trying to be rude. It's a great question. I'm not sure, and I don't think they can tell, like, do they have something? Did they catch something on camera? Do they have something more that they aren't sharing? Because while it's a cold case, it's still a very active case. So there could be something that they are just holding from people that makes them believe that it was a homicide. But yeah, it went from runaway for the first 5 months to missing child to a homicide for the last, I think I will say 10 years it's been a homicide. Maybe a little bit less than that. Yeah, it has to be something that they know. Let's listen to that one more time.
It's been 15 long years of not knowing what happened to Courtney
this was
Struble.
2 years
She was
ago. It's
last
been over
seen in a gray
17
hoodie
now.
and blue jeans. Courtney has a birthmark on her neck and a scar on her shin. Nicole Burkholder grew up with her and has spent half of her life without closure. At times, she can't help but fear the worst.
It's one of those things where you don't want to think of something like that, because it's just hard to think of her gone. But, it's just like within 15 years, you kind of have to, you hold on to hope, but at the same time, you almost have to mourn that person.
Like many, she has often tried to figure out what happened. Courtney was watching movies at a friend's place on the outskirts of Estevan. She declined a ride home that night, choosing to walk. Investigators believe
So she went to watch movies with her boyfriend Sam at the vet clinic. Her boyfriend Sam's older brother Tom offered her a ride home. We do not know when she offered that ride or when he offered her that ride. Did he see her walking on the road and offered to drive her home? I don't know. Was he there at the vet clinic that night hanging out? We don't know, because according to Sam's email to me, he said that when him and Courtney got to the vet, he did not know if his brother was there or not, because then he fell asleep, so he doesn't know, but that his brother woke him up saying, like, I offered Courtney a ride home or whatever, but it said that she didn't accept it. So her boyfriend is even putting his own brother as being the last person to see her. You know, her best friend said that she was talking maybe to someone on MSN, that she thought she was, but then again, that was just said about a week ago when I've asked that to numerous other people and they kind of said no. So that was the first I heard of it when I was talking and interviewing with NICOLE, was that she all of a sudden, yeah, she could have been talking to someone on MSN. Now, they didn't have cell phones then. Courtney did not have a cell phone, and NICOLE, to my knowledge and from what she says, did not have a cell phone, but they had MSN at NICOLE's parents' house. I said, well, do you know, did she go on your computer, use it? And she couldn't tell me, she didn't know. So no, I mean, she had just gotten back together again with her boyfriend and was very happy to be back together with her boyfriend. They broke up just for the summer because the boyfriend had to go live with his grandparents, which was far away, so they weren't going to see each other. Mind you, they are 14 and 13, you know. So that's, I mean, think about that age. So yeah, they decided to break up for the month that he was, you know, going to his grandparents because they weren't going to see each other. And then the very night he got back to town and saw Courtney, they decided to get back together and hang out together. So I think that's kind of where KENDRA got used to stay the night at. I think she was actually really planning on staying the night with her boyfriend at the vet clinic, to be honest. If not, maybe she did go try to walk somewhere else. After this show, there's things that we will piece together, but I want to do this interview first. Because
made it back to the city, but that's where the trail ends. Burkholder believes that someone knows something. Courtney was at first considered a runaway. The teen was known to have troubles at home, but
a runaway for 5 months, you guys. Considered a runaway for 5 months, not just one night, 2 nights. Screw that whole 24-hour till a missing child or whatever. No, 5 months.
Countless tips seem to be nothing more than rumor. RCMP reviewed the file years after the disappearance, finding that the teen was likely to have been a victim of homicide. The RCMP also believed that someone knows something.
We're missing those pieces of that puzzle, and we haven't found her yet, and 15 years is a long time. And how we're going to get those pieces, I don't know, other than the person who knows what's going on. Even if they don't know what's relevant to them, if they come forward to us, we know where that piece maybe lies in that puzzle, and it can push forward an investigation. Sometimes all it takes is one phone call, and they can change the whole scope of an investigation.
The case remains alive with the RCMP Historical Case Unit. The investigators and those who knew Courtney still aren't giving up hope, forever in search of an answer about what happened to Courtney Struble. Kendall Latimer, CBC News, Regina.
Regina.
All kinds of trouble, Jay. She actually had, like, a month or two prior, actually left her mom's to want to live with her dad. You know, the kids all say stepmom, dad's wife, was mean and stuff like that. But then you kind of hear more like, oh, well, Courtney would ask to do this or do that, and stepmom would say no, so then they'd go behind stepmom's back because dad would say yes. So that would upset Melissa, right? I mean, a lot of us have children and have children play parents against each other without even knowing that they're doing that, but it happens, and it sure happens. Like, they do know what they're doing when they're older. 13, 14, she definitely was like, oh, well, screw you, you're not my mom, and I'm going to ask my dad, he's going to say yes because he's the fun parent. Now, there's rumors and hearsay that she was being abused, that there was bruises on her all the time, and that she always wore only long sleeves and sweaters. I don't know if that's true. I have not had that confirmed by anybody but her best friend. Yeah, because Kendra didn't see any.
Hmm.
Dad and Melissa are still married. Yes. Both parents have new partners. Yeah. And have before she even went missing. And Crime Web's daughter is in here, I heard. Sorry, I didn't say hi, but if you're in here still, hello. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, Jay for Justice. Melissa is working. So I did offer to try and help him and Melissa get the funds to help pay Reverend Donna. And he said, nope. He said, how much? And I told him what Reverend Donna said, and he said, absolutely not, Cher. Thanks for offering your platform to do that, but we got this. Melissa has been in contact with me through text messages, and she said, yes, she will talk to one person and work with one person. And I think that's fine because she doesn't owe anyone to work with anyone. It's on who everybody's comfortable with. And she happens to be comfortable with Reverend Donna, an FBI world-renowned psychic who hasn't been wrong yet on a high-profile case. So if that's who Melissa feels more comfortable talking to, I don't know what else you guys want from her because that's honestly probably a better option than maybe me, right? So, I mean, you'd be crazy if you're guilty to want to talk to that lady, I feel like. I don't know, don't come for me, but that's how I feel. So, I mean, that's where she's comfortable. And Melissa has texted me and she's been very nice and thanked me. And yeah, and she just said for now, who knows? Maybe one day she will feel more comfortable to say her side. We don't know that, but I don't blame her for shutting up when numerous people are pointing the fingers at her for 2 decades. I mean, can you really blame her for shutting up? Mm-hmm. Right, Jessica? That's exactly right, Irma. So that's another thing that kind of stood out to me too. If she had such issues with stepmom, why on earth would she leave mom's house to go live there? So yeah, and you know, we're still learning things on both sides as we go through this. But oh, we got Bobby. Bobby. Is that right?
Okay,
There we go. You're on here, Bobby.
oh, there we go. Right on.
There we go. So
Okay, so what's
have,
going on?
so what's going on? So what's going on? I don't even know where we should really start because
It's really difficult, right? If you think
yeah.
about it, like there's so much that bounces back and forth, and like it's just it's a lot. It's a lot to take in. It's a lot of information, you know. Like it's crazy. And
Okay,
the
so
more
let's
and more.
start by introducing yourself and your relation to Courtney Struble.
Okay, so my actual name is Robert Hank. I am the first cousin to Mark Struble. Mark's mom and my dad are brother and sister, is how that relation works out and how I'm related to Mark and Courtney. So I never had the pleasure of meeting Courtney, unfortunately, in person. I never really knew any of this family existed. I don't really talk to any of this type of family at all. This is my dad's side of the family. We never grew up really close to them, no nothing. The majority of that family that I know pretty much was my Aunt Marlene and my Uncle Dennis. And I knew Mark's sister pretty good. I met her before she had passed, but I never even knew that Mark, Dennis, Courtney, any of them even existed till, geez, I want to say Courtney had already been missing for almost 7 years before I even knew they existed.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Zena, that would be great if you could do that. Thank you. Everyone's thanking you for being here and for talking.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it, man. It's about time that somebody came on here that can set the record straight a little bit and clear a few things up, you know, like.
Or try to.
Yeah, or try to at least, right? It seems so far that everybody that's come on here has been able to express an opinion, but unfortunately, it seems that everybody that comes on here seems to express all kinds of different opinions and things that don't really justify or make any sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
there's just so, like we said, there's so much to go through. Like, unfortunately, like I said, you know, I hate to say it, but for 10 going on to 11 years, I was very, very much so under the impression that the main suspects in this whole situation were my own cousin and his girlfriend. But I tell you, after befriending my cousin's parent, best friend, we'll call it here, for almost a year, I really start to question some other people and some other people's involvement in this situation.
Mm-hmm. That's what I've been telling people.
Yeah, like, I mean, Nicole and I had the one that is Courtney's apparent best friend there, had kind of befriended each other.
Hey,
Okay.
Bobby,
Yeah.
let's go back to, because, well, you just said, like, you didn't know about that family, so people were like, well, wait, how are you helpful to this case then? I want to
Okay,
go
no problem.
rewind it. Yeah, let's rewind it to, so Courtney goes missing, and then what happens? Like, we know Courtney's dad come and live with you. Why don't you kind of
didn't come
tell
live
us
with me.
all
He
about
moved to, Mark had moved to my hometown called Barhead, Alberta.
that?
Okay. Moved down there, laid on the old sauce really quick and like thick that, you know, hey, you know, I'm really upset about what happened to my daughter. I'm not able to live proper life. I'm having a hard time, this, that, and the other. So, you know, like, we knew the situation, stuff like that. Moved out to Barhead. We hit it off right away. Like, I think I met Mark pretty much the same day that he was in Barhead. I was walking by with a girl that I was dating currently, and Mark was on his balcony at a place called Paddle River Apartments with another mutual friend. I'm not going to use the guy's name because, like, he doesn't want to be involved. That's fine. But he was at a mutual friend's house. We were walking by, see him on his balcony, came over, hung out, and literally hit it right off. And we were hung out all the time ever since he'd moved to Barhead.
Mm-hmm.
So, and like almost immediately with Mark moving to Barhead, a lot of things weren't adding up. A lot of things weren't making sense. And almost immediately, like I said, it started throwing up a lot of red flags that this guy was involved or at least knows something.
Mm-hmm.
So, and like the main upsetting thing about the whole thing is like I said, you and I have watched both the Mark's interviews.
Mm-hmm.
In Mark's first interview, he says, and I quote, "If I didn't pass a polygraph test, I would literally be sitting in jail trying to fight for my life right now." Within a few minutes of his second interview, he admits that he failed a polygraph test and immediately got himself a lawyer. So what bothers me with that is anybody who's anybody knows, anybody can make up whatever story they want. If your child is missing, you take a polygraph test, it comes back inconclusive that you were showing signs of deception. And the first thing out of your mouth was, I need to get a lawyer. There's something wrong with that. No offense, but I don't know. Maybe it's just me. And maybe it's just the type of person that I am because I am a father. But last time I checked, if my kid went missing, the last comment out of my mouth would be, oh, I think I need a lawyer.
Yeah.
And not only that, but then when Mark moved to Barhead, Mark told everybody in Barhead that he has passed 3 polygraph tests and doesn't understand why the police won't help him. Melissa has, since day one, never been polygraphed, never cooperated with police, know nothing about what happened with Courtney.
Mm-hmm.
And that's Mark's girlfriend. Now, like I said, maybe I'm a different person. Maybe I was raised different. I don't know. But if your missing kid or your spouse's missing child goes missing, the last thing out of anybody's mouth should be, oh, the cops told, or I was told not to do anything because my lawyer said not to get involved. Why would you need a lawyer, first of all, in any way, shape, or form in that type of situation? Why would that be one of the first things out of your mouth?
Yeah.
Like, there's just something very disturbing and wrong about that whole situation. And not only that, but why would you even want to get a lawyer involved in your missing kid unless you did something?
Mark, just be patient. Please just hear him out, okay? I know, but he's got to say his truth and start from the beginning. This is how he was feeling, but give him a chance. I promise you. Just listen and hear him out, Mark. Okay, so keep going. I want to kind of get into, so he was saying all that, and then how did the best friend enter your life?
It was very strange. One day I was sitting here, it was almost, I'd say, just over a year ago. I went to a local restaurant. I'm a recovered drug addict. I went to a local restaurant here, and it just kind of blew my mind in the town that I'm living in, because it's a very small community of about 1,800 people. There's not a lot of people here, and it's a very religious community. Like, I live in a very, very Mennonite community. So I was at this restaurant, went to go pull money out of the ATM in the hallway. I happened to glance up, and right above the ATM is the Crime Stoppers Missing Children's thing, and Courtney's one of the very first ones on there. Like, the very, very first ones on there. And it just kind of piqued my interest in being sober, stuff like that. It's always kind of sat on my mind for 10 going on to 11 years what actually happened that day, because like I said, a lot of things, like, because a lot of stuff happened that was bad between me, Mark, and Melissa, and I feel bad about it to this day about what had happened. But like I said, at the time being, a lot of things really pointed towards this being Mark and Melissa. But after becoming friends with NICOLE, and with what's happened with NICOLE over the course of a year, I hate to say it, but there are people that should be deemed as other suspects, and in my opinion, things just really, really do not add up.
Mm-hmm.
Because as you know, like you and I have discussed it before, and the exact second things don't go NICOLE's way, things don't get said the way NICOLE wants, like how you and I even got involved and met each other, was because you had brought light to the Sam and Thomas situation. NICOLE messaged me getting all kinds of mad, wanting me to come and defend them.
Yep.
Now, keep in mind, I've already been chatting with her for almost a year with nobody knowing, okay, trying to find out information. The exact second you guys got involved, found out I was involved, and NICOLE got me involved, NICOLE's story completely and totally changed, and aspects of a 17-year-old crime don't even make sense anymore. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make a lot of sense. Because as soon as you guys got involved, and Ben can even vouch on the one there, right?
Mm-hmm.
That as soon as NICOLE started getting questioned on what happened with Courtney's stuff, who had Courtney's stuff, she was mad and argumentative right away. No, the cops gave it to Joy. The cops did it. The cops did it. The cops did it. She repeated herself about 6-7 times, okay? To literally turn around in the same conversation and, no, Mark did. Mark did. Mark did. I'm pretty sure Mark gave Joy the stuff back.
Mm-hmm.
I was always under the impression Mark and Joy didn't get along, want nothing to do with each other. And then all of a sudden her story changed to she wouldn't talk to Ben on the chat anymore. Then it was exact second we got off the chat, she had messaged me and, oh, well, I'm pretty sure Mark did. That's what Janet told me. But this is somebody who, like, as you know, firmly pushes her point across that this is how it is, plain and simple. Now, what I don't get about that whole situation, if this is how it is, plain and simple, then according to her, and you know this as well, was Sam was the apparent love of Courtney's life, this, that, and the other.
Mm-hmm.
Why did it take them so many years to finally come forward, do polygraph tests? We all know the one that Courtney was in a relationship took even longer, and he refused at the beginning to even want to have anything to do with this. Like, a lot of this doesn't make any sense. NICOLE was the only mediator between anybody and Sam and Thomas. But if this was the love of your life and somebody you cared about, why would you not want to be involved in this to at least try to put eyes on it, reflect something, anything?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it literally makes absolutely no sense to me. And like I said, I'm starting to feel bad here because for 10, 11 years, even after talking with that Sergeant Donna, I've been under the impression like the main suspects of this were Mark and Melissa. If you have a 20-minute conversation with Nicole, you have a 10-minute conversation with Donna, if you could ever get a hold of her.
Mm-hmm.
Because as I've said, and you know this for a fact too, Donna, I don't believe in any way, shape, or form has had any interest in trying to solve this case in any way, shape, or form, due to the fact that she claims that she's been trying to get a hold of Mark and Melissa, but yet has no clue where they were.
Mm-hmm.
She was supposed to phone me back over a year ago. Only reason I got into contact with her is because I phoned her corporal. And I'm in the process of filing a grievance because, as I told you, I've spoken to multiple law enforcement agents. I've talked to lawyers. I've talked to Crown prosecutors.
Well,
Nobody that we know of.
You're about to tell them something I haven't even told them yet.
Okay, so according to my lawyer, Crown prosecutors and stuff like that, and police officers, and these are even Saskatchewan police officers, yes, okay, they will every now and then allow a witness to go over their statement under the condition of this is something that has gone to trial. A Crown prosecutor will allow a witness to go over their statements to refresh their memory. However, nobody I have talked to, Donna, lawyers, anybody, everybody has told me it is flat out not legal to allow somebody to go over their statement on an active homicide investigation, because this is no longer a missing person. This is actually a homicide investigation.
Yeah, so really quick, Bobby, I want to tell you guys, because I didn't tell you guys this, but I was trying to say it in the interview to let you guys know and have you pick it up, because I think it is important for everyone to listen to know some of the things happening behind the scenes. But the best friend has requested from law enforcement to be able to reread her statement that she gave all those years ago before doing interviews with me. So when I sat down with her, I asked, Zena, stop. I asked her, did you get a chance to reread that statement? Now, she is the only person I've ever witnessed in any case, and the only person in this case, especially, that has requested to reread her statement with the police.
Yep. And according to Donna,
he's nervous and anxious to do this, you guys. Mind you, he hasn't been on YouTube streams before like this, so.
Yeah, and I got my kid running around, so it makes life a little more difficult. My babysitter pitched, so But yeah, like I said, like a lot of it is just, it's not adding up. It's not making sense. And I, honest to God, like I feel bad because of the fact of what had happened. But at the same time, like, yeah, Mark and Melissa, in my opinion, you failed a polygraph. I don't care what you tell anybody, man. You failed a polygraph due to signs of deception. It came back inconclusive due to signs of deception. You told everybody in Barhead you took 3 polygraph tests and passed. Your first interview is you took a polygraph test and passed. Your second interview is, oh, I failed, and then I contacted a lawyer who told me totally different. Then I've just never taken one again.
Yeah.
Like, Melissa has never taken one, no nothing, right from the word day one. So, but now, like I said, that also brings up a lot of other interesting facts because, as you know, Nicole told us she took 3 polygraphs. Then the story turned to, oh, I think I only took 1. How do you not know, okay, if this was your best friend of how many years, missing 17 years, how do you not know how many polygraph tests you've taken? I'm 36 years old and I can tell you how many I've taken in my life because it's a weird experience. It's not really being strapped to a machine, asked all kinds of weird questions repeatedly and stuff like that. It's not really a process you're going to forget. But when you turn around and one of the first comments out of your mouth is, oh, well, I'll talk to Donna and Donna can tell me how many times I've done this. How would you not remember? Like, and not only that, but as you said yourself, when we were talking to her the one day online there, She was asking questions that you and I both know damn well are not questions asked in a polygraph.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like being asked, oh, what's your mother's name? Not really something they ask. Normally they ask, is this your mom's name, and give a name, and you give a yes or no answer.
Yeah. I'm not sure if Mark's listening right now. Well, okay, Bobby, what was the first thing to you that made you start questioning Nicole after talking to her for so long? What was it? Like, I know, but tell everyone in here, like, what made you go, oh my God, Benny, like, something ain't right here. I'm being lied to. What was the first thing that hit you?
There was a couple things over, like I said, almost the course of the year of being Nicole's friend that were kind of throwing up flags, but Nicole would go back and try to cover herself. Okay. I know people are saying in the comments she said she couldn't remember, but Nicole told all of us very, very different how many times she was polygraphed. You know, like, and like I said, something about it just, it wasn't adding up. So the one day when we were talking, and that was the main thing that threw up the red flags when me and Ben were talking to her, and she had mentioned the fact that the cops had brought Joy Courtney's stuff. And I started to ask kind of questions. I was like, well, that's not really what you said. And this is a little bit strange. But the thing that mainly threw up the red flag for me with Nicole was the day we were sitting there, the three of us, you, me, and Nicole, were talking in our three-way chat thing there. And she had turned around and said, Mark had blocked her on Facebook. He was all mad and he had blocked her on Facebook. She couldn't check his profile, no nothing. Mark does his YouTube interview, and we screenshotted it, that Nicole literally jumped on Facebook, messaged Mark, and apologized.
Mm-hmm.
But this is somebody you turned around, slandered so bad behind his back. Oh, it's him and Melissa. It's him and Melissa. I guarantee it. Guarantee it. It was them. It was them. It was them. Then why would you jump on Facebook, apologize, and be all buddy-buddy with somebody who you told us blocked you?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that throws up all kinds of red flags, like a lot of red flags that just didn't make sense.
So for me, when I started digging in this case, obviously reading about it online, I was like, whoa, a vet clinic, the kids, the ride home, everything is weird. But then when I did my very first show on my channel about Courtney Struble, the very first person to reach out to me, and I'm telling you, it was very aggressively, was Nicole. And it was basically, how dare you say that the kid should be investigated more when we've all been cleared, blah, blah, blah. It was very aggressive and pissed off that I was saying that the kids should be looked more into. And then I just ended up talking to her and telling her, like, you know, new eyes means we have to put everything on the table. We cannot investigate. And even if an investigator comes in, a new investigator, like, you can't go in tunnel vision. Everything is on the table. I'm sorry. Like, you're not going to find anyone that's going to only be like, oh, okay.
That's what I told you when I first got involved in this. It was, I'm not just going to keep, like Nicole and everybody else, I'm not just going to walk into this situation with the firm belief what the cops say, what Nicole, all the friends, all that should say. I'm not just going to walk into this situation with the firm belief that, period, it was Mark and Melissa. I have to keep an open mind and open eyes on everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm glad that I did it that way, because I'm telling you right now, over the course of a year, a lot of things with Nicole and Nicole's story, how she bullies people in situations, get really aggressive with people in situations, and a lot of things that Nicole has said and done over the course of a year do not add up in any way.
Mm-hmm.
Because for one, like I said, the one thing that always kind of made me upset about Mark was the fact that if your child was missing, why would you leave province? Like, to me, that's just, it's very strange. I know life happens and stuff like that. Like, Courtney's best friend ended up moving from the area. So, you know what I mean? And like, that's almost like the tea kettle calling the pot black. How can you justify getting all kinds of mad and getting mad at Mark and Melissa for leaving the area when you did the same thing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she moved.
You know,
too.
like, it's a lot of this doesn't add up. A lot of this doesn't make sense. The fact that Sam and Thomas want absolutely nothing to do with the situation it's just strange to me. Like, it's very strange to me because Nicole came up the first time I started talking with Nicole. She 110%, like I said, was trying to reassure me, Bobby, nope, this was Mark and Melissa, 110%. I passed 3 polygraph tests. All of us were cleared immediately. This, that, and the other, going on telling me all these things. I've had 3 phone conversations with Sergeant Donna from the Historical Crimes. And according to Donna, it was 1 polygraph test many years ago. And that's how they were able to the fact that Nicole was okay because she passed a polygraph test years ago. But what doesn't make sense to me is Nicole also told all of us she passed 3 polygraph tests, said they were all cleared immediately. Well, as soon as you, me, and Ben and Nicole all got into that group chat, her story changed entirely.
Yep. Yeah, and then when I
Entirely
had
changed.
interviewed her and I said, did you guys have to do polygraphs and get interrogated? And what'd she all say, you guys? She said no. Yes, they were in the middle of moving at the time of Courtney's disappearance. That is true.
Yeah.
But his place was checked, and even when that house was torn down before the new house and everything, they checked his house. And they checked the soil and everything to check for.
Yeah, from what I was told, they had a
nothing.
cadaver dog out there. They had a cadaver dog at the house, down in the basement of the house. There was what they thought a bit of a hit in the basement at one point, but it was checked into by some sort of thing that they bring in. I don't know exactly what it's called, but apparently it was looked into and never substantiated that that's what had happened. Also, I'd like to point out the fact that Nicole had said, and I quote, that supposedly Melissa pushed Courtney down the stairs. Now, this is what bothers me, and I don't care what anybody says. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I was born and raised differently. If my female 13-year-old best friend comes and tells me that she's being abused on a regular basis by her dad's girlfriend and got thrown downstairs and has marks, I'm calling cops on your ass. Plain and simple. I'm calling the cops on your ass. They all knew about this for how long, and not one person filed a report, complaint, no nothing? None of this stuff was brought forward, mentioned, no nothing, until after Courtney went missing? Like, I don't know, man. Like I said, it all seems very, very strange. Also, at the time that Courtney went missing, everybody also seems to forget that Nicole disappeared to her grandparents' house, apparently. Now, what didn't make any sense to me with Nicole disappearing to her grandparents' house is you and I both know Courtney said that she hadn't seen Courtney the night of her disappearance. But other people have vouched the fact that, yes, Nicole did.
Okay, you guys, so there's some more stuff I've been keeping from you guys. So you guys know when I interviewed Courtney's father, Mark Struble, we rented a space at a hotel to do the interview in. And it so happened that when I called and booked that hotel, the manager got on the phone with me and she said, oh yeah, I know all about that case. And I said, oh, how do you know about the Courtney Struble case? Like, could I interview you about it? And because I thought it'd be good for the locals to also have their say if they know about the case and say their piece, right? And she goes, no, I couldn't, no, I can't really interview. And I said, okay, well, how do you know about the case then? And she said, well, my cousin was with her the night she went missing. I said, oh, your cousin's with Kendra? And she goes, no, I'm Nicole's cousin. And I said, wait, hold on. Nicole is with Courtney the night she went missing? Because Nicole left that out completely. She hadn't told Bobby that in over a year. She never told me that at all. And so then I actually just asked her a couple days ago, and she was like, yeah, I think you're talking about my cousin. So yeah, the manager of that hotel was Nicole's cousin. And she didn't know who I was or that Nicole and I were talking, whatever. She didn't know. And I'm telling you, I called Nicole right away, but it said that she was on another call and they had called each other. So something slipped right there that was not supposed to be said. And so I asked Nicole, so were you with her or not? Well, I can't remember. I think I was maybe with her. I'm like, well, your cousin places you with her. So now I have Nicole agreeing to being with her, and go back and listen to part 2, take 2 of the interview with Nicole, where I ask her specifically because I've been holding on to that. Yeah, her cousin said, and why would her own cousin like say that, right?
Make up a story and lie.
Nicole, yep. My cousin Nicole was with her the night she went missing. So that's from Nicole's own cousin. And Nicole lied and never told Bobby that for over a year. And sure as shit did not tell me that. So I had to pretend like I didn't hear that until I just interviewed her on take 2. And I said, so why would your cousin say that? So now, all of a sudden, within the last couple days, I now have Nicole saying, yeah, I was there until about 7:30 and everybody parted ways. She said she went with a different group of friends. Kendra went with her friend. I believe Kendra. Kendra got used in this situation. I am so sorry, Kendra.
I feel bad for Kendra too. And like I said, I tried to reach out to Kendra. I was a bit aggressive towards her because I want answers, man. You know, it's been 17 years. And as much as I hate to say it, even if this was a murder investigation, does people not realize we live in Canada? Okay. Even if, I hate to say it, if somebody did do this 17 years ago and murdered her, do people not realize life in Canada is 25 years? The justice system here is weird. I've been a part of the criminal system here. I know how things work. I've been in rooms with guys that have committed cold-blooded murders, got manslaughter, done 5 years, and been back out on the streets. Okay? So after 17 years, the what? Sorry?
Canada is bad for that. My dad did 14 years and was let out and begging not to be let out. And Canada, British Columbia, Alberta, the prisons are so full that they let very bad people on the streets, guys. So
when you go from a cold-blooded murder in like planning, laying out a plan, killing someone, go into a courtroom, give a sob story, and you get 10 years for a manslaughter for ending somebody's life, that's messed up. Because in the U.S., odds are you're going to get life. And life in the U.S. is life. You're going to be there till the day you die. In Canada, life is 25 years with a possibility of parole after 10.
Yeah,
it's been 17 years. If somebody came forward, they'd already be out of jail.
Yeah, but now, these people are parents now. They definitely don't want to get in trouble now. But here's the thing now. We've had one person really pushing the narrative and being upset when anyone looks deeper into the friend group, Sam, Thomas, and Nicole specifically. And it's only been Nicole. Now, the other thing I want to bring awareness to, because you guys in the true crime community will understand what I'm going to say here, is that typically a guilty party in a crime like this will over-involve themselves in that crime to keep tabs on it. Nicole has been, this is very, makes my stomach turn actually. I'm sorry, but it's true. Nicole has been the family mouthpiece and doing all of the interviews because mom has gotten so she's upset, right? And then her aunt actually told me that she has medical issues and the start of dementia. So it's Nicole's really been the mouthpiece and controlling the narrative all these years. It's been, you guys, it's wrong.
Aggressively and bullyish. Yeah, very aggressively and like I said, and bullyish to try to get her point across that, hey, no, although we were the last people to see Courtney alive, we were the last ones with her, know anything. Oh, hey, don't point the finger at us. It had to be Mark and Melissa because Mark failed his polygraph test. Now, to defend Mark, like I said, yes, you walk in there nervous, anything, you will fail a polygraph test because it goes by your nerves. Okay? It's not used in court of law anywhere due to the fact of that simple fact that they can be cheated, they can be failed over the stupidest little things. Now, the only thing that brings up a problem with me about everybody in this situation is everybody has claimed to have taken multiple polygraph tests and passed, but a lot of people are lying about it.
Yeah.
Like
that is one thing that it seems like everybody's kind of making up, like the polygraph situation with everyone's answers kind of don't make sense to me, and that's on all parties.
That's on everybody because, like I said, no offense to Mark, but dude, you told everybody in Barhead you took 3 polygraph tests, you passed, you don't understand why you're a suspect, this, that, and the other. When in your second interview, you admit flat out you failed your first polygraph test due to signs of deception. And the next response out of your mouth was, oh, my lawyer told me not to do this. No lawyer in any way, shape, or form is going to tell you not to get involved in the investigation of your missing kid unless you had something to do with it and he's got to represent you.
Yep.
No offense, that's how it is. From somebody who's been in the criminal justice system for a lot of years, I think I know how that works. And that was one of the first reasons why I brought up the question to Donna about, hey man, is this even allowed to happen? Because I know damn well, like, police and other investigators do this on purpose and not allow people to go over their statements, because people fuck up statements over the years, change things to their stories, and that's how they catch on. That's how they close cold crimes, is allowing people after how many years to fuck up stories, bury themselves, and then go from there. The fact that this is an ongoing investigation and you can go whatever you want with this cop who will apparently come and meet you, that's messed up. Due to the simple fact that it took me for over a year to get this woman on the phone.
Yeah.
But yet this woman will drop what she's doing and bring you interviews to go over, like.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's interesting that Nicole is so pushy towards Mark and Melissa, but it's also interesting that up until several days ago, she wasn't even putting herself with Courtney and was actually just trying to pin it all on Mark, Melissa, and Kendra, anyone but her, until finally I'm like, why'd your cousin told me you were with her? So, you know, I'm going over it. I'm like, so everyone left at around 7:30. So you left at 7:30. Yep. So I have Nicole now on video stating that
admitting she was there till 7:30.
Yep, till 7:30 p.m. the night she went missing. And I said, well, where did you go? She said, I don't know. I think I went off with my friends. So she went off with a group of friends, and Courtney took off with her boyfriend, and then Kendra went with her friend. And I believe Kendra went with her friend. I believe Kendra was used because Kendra was a goody two-shoe and not really so liked by the other group of friends. But
well, and that's the way that it sure seems, is Kendra was not liked by a lot of these people. Nicole has made that very clear that she was not one of their friends. She was just kind of a tag-along.
Yeah, so it's easy to kind of pin everything on her. Well, I don't know, maybe Kendra. I think Kendra did. Kendra's a weirdo. I don't know. But here's what I think happened. I think they all went back to that veterinary clinic and had a party. And I think something happened to Courtney, because the way that also Nicole defends Thomas and Sam so hard and how aggressive she's been about it. Why do you do that, right? Why do you do that if you, and I asked her, I said, did you witness anyone kill your friend? So I think that everybody thinks that they done something wrong and they're all going to protect each other. And I honestly do get the vibe that detectives never really wanted to get a group of kids in trouble. That's the vibe I'm getting, and I could be way off.
I get the weirdest feeling, and like, no word of a lie, because like I said, like I came into this pretty skeptical. Like I said, I tried to keep an open mind. And the fact that it took Donna over a year to call me back, she tried to play it off like it was really no big deal. Haha, blah, blah, whatever, you know, oh, we're just so busy down here, this, that, and the other. I was like, so busy that in a year you can't even return a guy's call, take a statement, no nothing? That doesn't make any sense. Like that, in my opinion, I know COVID was a big thing, stuff like that, but she even told me flat out, oh, we have to get permission to leave the province, or we can just get an investigator there to go meet up with you and take your statement and then send it to us. That's fine too. So in a year, why did none of this happen? So when Donna says that she's tried to get a hold of Mark and Melissa and talk to them and get them involved in this, that, and the other, it took you over a year to call me back, which is something else that I found to be very strange, was it took you over a year to get back to me. But the day you got back to me, we had I showed you, I had a 33-second conversation with Donna because it was my birthday and I had family out. And I told her I would have to call her back. She told me she was in the office for the rest of the day, or the next day. She'll get back to me. We'll talk. Well, I didn't hear anything back from her, but you guys heard back from her in about an hour and a half through Nicole, saying that she had just gotten off the phone with Donna, who said she had spoken to me, and all I did was flip out on her and lose my mind on how I hadn't talked to her in a year, and this isn't right, this, that, and the other. But that's not at all how that conversation went.
And she even told me, well, Donna said I could reread my statement and that if Mark or Melissa was to ask, no, they couldn't. And I thought that was messed up. So right away, I called Sergeant Donna and I said, I need to know if this is like normal protocol on open cases. And I straight up told Donna, I know you're listening, Nicole. I'm sorry. And you can certainly defend yourself. I will open the panel for you all to chat to each other at one point, whatever. But I'm saying there's so many red flags, like you didn't place yourself with your own best friend. Also, another red flag, which we'll get into, is I asked you one of your best memories of your best friend. You couldn't give me one. Walking around Estevan doesn't count. Estevan, I'm sorry. You guys know I try to make it fancier. But anyways, I told Donna, Sergeant Donna, I said, I wouldn't let her do that because she's not being honest. And I think that's a bad idea. And I went on and I told Donna everything. I said, Donna, I don't know what all you guys need, but you're welcome to have everything. You can come and pick up my cell phone if you want it. You can take the camera, like whatever you guys need. Like, I want to be helpful here. But if you're letting her reread statements, I don't think that's helpful to this case. Now, I can't control that. If they're allowed to do that, so be it. But I find it interesting. I've never heard of anyone else doing that in any other case. And there's nobody else in this case, including Mark or Melissa, asking if they can do that.
Well, and when I talked to Donna about it, and I'm glad that you touched on that, like I told you, when I spoke to Donna about that, one of the first comments out of Donna's mouth, no word of a lie, was the fact that, oh, you realize that these are YouTubers and they're only doing this for views to make money, right? The exact second Donna said that, and I replied back with, you need thousands and thousands of viewers to make money on this type of situation in any way, shape, or form. Without thousands of viewers, you're not making any money, especially when you're losing viewers, because this isn't, no offense, because I love my cousin to pieces, this isn't as high profile as a lot of the other cases that are out there.
Right.
Okay? So it's not like Char's making shit ton, like thousands and thousands of dollars by bringing light to the subject. Like, that doesn't make any sense. And as soon as I told Donna that, I was like, look, man, the reason why I phoned you is because I'm doing this YouTube deal, plain and simple. Like, I'm going on YouTube. I'm telling my grievances. You had how long to talk to me and contact me, tell me what was up, what was going on. You refused to do so. And I want to know, like, what can I say and what can't I say, because I don't want to turn around and get charged with obstructing justice because I'm releasing out information that's not supposed to be released out. And she told me that she couldn't confirm or deny anything, but they would come and charge me. My lawyer told me that's a load of shit. How can they come and charge you? Because they have to turn around and be able to prove that what I'm saying is lies.
Betty's up here too now, by the way, Bobby. Betty!
Benny.
Hey, Benny.
Hey, Mark. Hey, Bobby. How you doing, buddy?
So,
Good, how's it going, man?
what you guys don't know is Benny has been behind the scenes on this case as well and helping out and talking. So what do you guys say, Benny?
You know, I more than anything, I just want some answers for Courtney, like everybody else does. No matter what we got to go through to get them. I think that 17 years, almost 18 years is far too long. And, whatever it takes from that community in Estevan, and even us here in the States, whatever we can do to culture and environment to bring that girl home, it's time.
Yeah.
I have reached out to, and they actually put my message the other day as urgent. It's my second time reaching out to see, because there was a $10,000 reward fund, and I asked them, is that still standing? If not, can that come back to be standing? Could we get any amount of a reward fund still standing if that one doesn't? And how can we help donate to that fund to make it bigger, to a link that goes directly to that fund? No super chats, no nothing like that. But how can we go about that? Because I do think, Nicole, you said it best. Somebody knows something, and it's been over 17 years. And, I almost wonder if maybe the law enforcement, the RCMP, would even be like, just come forward and put closure to this. Where's Courtney? And everyone go about your lives still. I know some people are parents now, and, but
Well, and like the thing is too is like we live in the world of modern technology. Okay, it's not very hard to go pick up a piece of stationery paper, an envelope from somewhere, right where her body is, so a person could find her.
Mm-hmm.
You could drop off an anonymous letter, for fuck's sake. Like, you could drop off an anonymous letter, letting people know where she is. Done.
Yeah.
Done.
Right.
At least then we know where she is. We know what happened. People can have the closure that's needed, and the police can go from there and do investigations from there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because it's what bothers me, like I said, is the fact that 17 years and nobody has come forward and said nothing.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Really? That's insane. Like, I watch a lot of cold case stuff and stuff like that on YouTube. Like I said, I love that kind of stuff. It's one of my things. But the fact that 17 years with absolutely nothing, all we keep getting is Nicole trying to muscle people in on the investigation, spearhead this straight towards Mark and Melissa. But the thing is Nicole's stories have never really made a lot of sense after, and Ben, you were there the same day. As soon as we started putting the questioning on Nicole about her Courtney's stuff that day with the police, remember?
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as that happened, she quit talking to him.
Yep.
As soon as I started putting questions on there about, like, hey, man, this isn't what you told me about Sam and Thomas and you guys. This isn't making sense. Like, hey, man, if you know something, you know we're friends, just come out and tell me. Like, just tell me, man. And I showed all you guys. She quit talking to me. At the exact second you don't believe Nicole's story and you start to point somewhere else and be like, well, hey, what about this? Because this doesn't make sense. All of a sudden, she wants nothing to do with you. They're going to shut down this investigation, this, that, and the other, and that's how it is. Why would you want to shut down the investigation, not have any part of this, when all people are doing is trying to bring awareness to what happened? And, hey, maybe this isn't what happened. Maybe something else did happen.
Yeah.
Like, but the exact second you don't say or hear, or Nicole doesn't hear what she wants, you don't matter anymore. You're no longer a part of this, and this is how it is.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because Ben and I had quite the conversation after that happened that night with Nicole. And it wasn't making any sense, because in the course, Ben, what was it, like 5 minutes? Her story changed about 10 times. And every single time her story changed, she aggressively tried to press her point across, even though her story kept changing. How can you aggressively try to get your point across on a story if your story keeps changing?
Yeah, I was always very curious about why, the story kept changing and developing, and I can't point any fingers at anybody, quite naturally, but it is concerning,
Yep. It like I said, it raised a lot of red flags for me, like I said, that night, and you can see it clear in the chats. Like, I have it screenshotted from that night when me and Nicole were talking.
Yeah.
The exact second you had said, hey, Nicole, I thought you said this is what was going on, she quit talking.
Yeah, she did.
Like, she immediately quit talking to you and me in the group thing, started messaging me, telling totally different stories. And that's why I was screenshotting it and showing you guys, because I was like, see, this is what I mean by something's off here.
And good thing you screenshotted, Bobby, because what'd she start doing?
Unsending.
Erasing messages. Erasing messages from our conversation. But like I said, as soon as I got involved in this, like I told you guys right from the word go, I screenshot and save everything.
Yeah.
Everything. I record everything. I write everything down. I screenshot everything. So, because of the fact that, no offense to the police, whatever, I said it, I think they did a very scummy, shitty job in investigating this. I think they tried to sweep something very sinister and shady underneath the rug, and it's been 17 years. Enough's enough of the shit.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Because no offense to the police, but when your main mouthpiece of the family, this, that, and the other, when their story keeps changing repeatedly, and the cops are allowing you to go over your statement on an impending homicide investigation, the first thing that comes to my mind is the cops are trying to cover some greasy shit some kids did so they can save face and not get in trouble.
Potentially.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's a lot of it isn't making sense. And how can you keep meeting up with someone, allowing them to go over their statement and go on, like, allow them to go over their statement before YouTube? Because I don't care what anybody says. I personally believe Nicole went over her statement before she went on.
Mm-hmm.
I 110% believe that. And my lawyer, she's awesome. Her name is Erica Gauchi. She's out of Calgary. Erica Gauchi is the one who told me to go and file a grievance with the Estevan Police Service on how the fuck is that even legal, and get something in writing that says they are doing what they are doing in case this turns into something serious, because something is very amiss.
Yeah.
For sure. For sure, Mr. Bobby.
So, and when I asked Donna that day, well, you know, that's crazy, man, because you refused to take my statement. So if Mark wanted to walk in there right now, walk into that police station, say, Donna, I want to do this. If Nicole's allowed to do it, so can I. Why the hell can't I go over my statement? Oh, we would have to go through this process, and we would have to know why he even wanted to go over his statement, this, that, and the other. And I was like, but Nicole can phone you up. You'll meet with her wherever and let her go over her shit. That don't make sense at all.
And you had said historically, Mr. Bobby, that Miss Donna didn't have good contact with you, right?
Horrible. Yeah. Horrible. I talked to that woman a year ago, almost to the day, okay? And like I said, oh, Bobby, no problem. You know, I know with the COVID, this, that, and the other, we'll try for right after New Year's. We'll come out there. We'll get this done. You know, we'll do an interview, you know. And at the time, I was planning to go to Estevan to go see some friends of mine that I had out there. And things didn't pan out because of the COVID, being a single dad, stuff like that. I just didn't have the extra money to take off at the time. And literally over a year, me sending you emails, phoning, leaving voicemails, doing all of this stuff, and it takes you over a year to get back to me. And the only reason I got a call back, I phoned her corporal to find out if this was even right. He told me, don't believe the drama and the rumors and the bullshit. No, they're not allowed to do that kind of thing. Don't believe the rumors, Bobby. This is probably just people making up lies. She's not allowed to be giving people their statements to go over their statements.
Donna confirmed
with me that Nicole and Donna have confirmed that, yeah, they did.
Mm-hmm.
So when your corporal says you're not allowed to be doing this, like when your main supervisor, your corporal, and I wrote it down, I got it on my book here somewhere. The guy was Craig something, Corporal Craig something or other. I even made sure I took his name down. He said flat out that that did not sound right in any way, shape, or form. Don't believe rumors and bullshit because that's not allowed. So, like I said, a lot of this is just, it makes no sense in any way, shape, or form. Like, no sense in any way, shape, or form. Because, like I said, even after 17 years, for absolutely nothing, that it's not right. Like, it makes no sense. Even in the police's statement, okay? And this is something that you guys and I have touched base on numerous times that bothers me. 13 years old, but yet your 15-year-old boyfriend let you walk at 11:30 at night, 45 minutes out in the dark by yourself?
That's hard to understand.
Yeah,
okay?
I don't understand that. No way, no.
And the police have confirmed 500 million times, it's in their reports, stuff like that. They 100% believe Courtney made it back to the city between 1 and 2 o'clock. Right? Now,
between 11:30 and 1 a.m.
Oh, it's okay. Yeah. See, so when I talked to Donna, they told me it was between 1 or 2 o'clock.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah. And what I said doesn't make any sense. And remember, I've told you guys this a few times. If this is a 45 minute walk that late at night, I'm not going to lie. I'm a bit afraid of the dark. If I'm walking that late at night, that far out in the middle of nowhere with a bunch of wildlife, I'm getting home a lot faster than 45 minutes walking.
Yeah, you're gonna be on a quick clip trying to get there.
I'm moving.
No, they were not very liked. The boy's dad was very liked. He was well liked vet, the only vet in town. He was really well liked. Now I can't say what it is because I don't have the proof because they were kids. But yes, there was some charges on them, but they were minors, so it's sealed, and it was against their grandparents.
And we know what that is, though, right?
Yeah, we can't say it though.
No, we're not. Yeah, but we know what it is.
There was some issues. Yeah, and so just know that it definitely makes me wonder why they weren't investigated harder with knowing what
Those charges were.
those charges were. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And
Now,
again,
guys,
if
let's
you guys
get
can
into the
imagine,
fire
it's
pit situation.
like Sharon
Oh
said,
yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
yeah. The
I'm
fire
gonna leave
pit
Mr. Chair here
situation.
for a minute while I go outside.
Oh, I
Yeah.
need to have a sip of my coffee before we get into this fire pit thing here.
Yeah, because
The
that's
fire pit, in my personal opinion, is probably one of the main keys to this whole situation and does not make any sense in any way, shape, or form. And I still, to this day, am trying to find patrons and community members of Estevan that were around at the time that can vouch that had been to both sets of these properties, that was not friends with Nicole and them, that can vouch what kind of fire pit this was. Now, being a farm kid, having bonfires, having a bigger fire pit, stuff like that as a kid growing up, Nicole made a comment to me when her and I first started talking that this fire pit was huge and that they used to throw pallets down into it and push pallets down into it.
She also said that they used to take whole fence boards and put them down
and throw them in, right?
Yeah.
Now, what doesn't make any sense to me is the picture she sent is a ground level pit with rocks that I could probably pick up and throw. That's not really a standard issue fire pit for something with a great big bonfire, and you don't push fence posts and throw stuff down into a ground level pit.
Right.
Yep.
A ground level pit, if for those that don't know, is just a burnt spot on top of the earth. It's not sinking in.
So a lot of that right away wasn't really making a whole lot of sense. And she ran KENDRA down for the longest time, calling KENDRA an idiot. She was full of shit. That never happened. But then even admits later on in the interview that KENDRA was all drunk and almost fell into it. Well, how would you even know that if you weren't there?
Right. And, you know, now that you've brought KENDRA up, you know, I never really knew how to kind of gauge KENDRA because she was just so, not bland, but like her personality didn't show a wide spectrum of emotion. But when you have KENDRA, who doesn't remember if she took a polygraph, and then you also have Nicole can't remember if she took one either. And so it's like, you know, I said it in private conversations and publicly, like I've taken 3 polygraph tests. I know exactly, you know, like I was young as well too. These were 20, 30 years ago. So, you know, 25 years ago. So, you know, just to have 2 people like that in itself, the connection of 2 people that don't remember something very, very earth-changing like a polygraph, they don't remember having went through that. That's an issue.
Yep. And like I said, because and you and I touched base on that a few times. That's something that always bothered me because being polygraph tested before, I know what it's like to be polygraph tested. Absolutely. I know the range and spectrum, the same as you. We know the kind of stuff that they ask. Now, have you in your polygraph tests ever been asked, so what's your mom's name?
No.
I was asked, is this your mother's name? And they said my mom's name, and I had to give a yes or no answer. Same as when they asked what my dad's name was.
Well, yeah, they just asked me my name. And I guess they probably, they get that same baseline that way. They did ask me
because
that.
They have to establish that the machine is up and working properly. So they ask you a bunch of standard-based questions. Nicole didn't know any of this stuff, but was supposedly polygraph tested 3 times. I was polygraph tested back when I was 18, so we're going on to 18 years ago, and I can tell you clear as day what it was like.
I mean, can't you? It's not even just the polygraph; it's just having an intimate interaction with law enforcement, right? So, I mean, for the most part, I remember every speeding ticket, every interaction I've ever had with the police. I remember them all the way back from very young till today. So, you know, that's to me, it's like. That's just that they should have just said I don't remember or I don't know or I can't talk about that. But to say they have to ask someone else, like they both kind of had that same thing. They're like, oh, I got to ask my mom. She'll know.
See, and to me, that's really confusing. And another thing that bothers me, and I pointed it out to Char there and stuff like that. Like the one thing that bothered me. It seems that everybody involved and everybody pointing fingers, and I'm not trying to be rude in any way, shape, or form, But everybody involved and everybody pointing fingers and trying to say what's going on with Kendra has some sort of strange brain injury.
Right. Or epilepsy or part.
Kendra's got epilepsy. Nicole, I have the messages, claim she's got 4 brain lesions. Okay. And wasn't somebody saying earlier that Janet's got the early signs of dementia or something?
Yes, I did hear that. Yep.
See, so like I said, so all the people that are leading this, the voice of the family, spearheading it, trying to get everybody aware, have brain injuries and keep pointing at Mark and Melissa when, I hate to say it, but a lot of things point towards them.
Yeah, I mean, just statistically even, before you even know any of the details of the case, there's always statistically those people that are always look the best for it,
Yep.
And
well,
I still just have an issue with the whole polygraph deal, right? Like it's just is beyond my understanding for someone to say that they can't. And there's a real potential that these people have been polygraphed more than one time and can't remember, right? So that's an issue.
Yeah. And that's what I mean. And like, I understand the fact that, it's been 17 years, but okay, first of all, my best friend moved from my hometown when we were little kids, and that's been over 17 years. I can tell you intimate details of my 2 best friends, and like I said, Nicole couldn't even bring up a memory. My best friends, Greg Pacruda and Christine Johnston, I hate to drop their name like that, but I'm gonna. I haven't seen them guys in probably years, like decades, but I can bring up memories. My friend Christine Johnston was my Nintendo buddy. We grew up playing the original Nintendo together. My mom would come over with her mom. They would all hang out, do their thing while her and I played Nintendo. That's a memory of your best friend, not, we used to walk around Estevan.
Yeah, you can't tell us what kind of music or clothes or,
anything.
Anything.
Or the fact that, she was a tomboy, this, that, and the other, but then tells everybody the story on how she was a tomboy, didn't wear makeup. Oh, but used to wear all this makeup to cover up the marking and the bruising from Melissa.
Yeah. Which one is it?
If she doesn't have makeup, then where did she get the makeup from? Was it one of you guys? And if that's the case in point, I think you guys are the scummiest best friends alive. Why did nobody ever phone the police? Contact her mom. Let anybody know if this was what was going on.
Yeah, if she was being hit on and having to cover it with makeup, then it stands to reason, being 13 years old, that somebody showed her how to apply the makeup as well. So there was other people, there would have had to have been other people that would have known the chain of abuse. It wouldn't have it wouldn't have just been a 13-year-old just perfectly covering, like that's
a 13-year-old tomboy who doesn't apply makeup, knows nothing about it, knows how to perfectly apply all this stuff in the era when the best internet service you had make a weird crackling noise, and if you picked up your phone, you lost it. Like this, we're talking about 17 years ago. It's not like you whipped out your smartphone and, oh, hey, Google, or, oh, hey, Siri, can you tell me, we're talking about 17 years ago. Even personal computers weighed like 100 pounds back in the day.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. So a lot of these things that have been passed off as just regularities in life or teenage regularities, they're you really break them down that way, they're not actually regularities, they're irregularities. There's some atypical irregularities happening.
Yeah. And the fact that, like I said, the one thing that always kind of bothered me, the only person to ever vouch this supposed story of Courtney gave Mark the stipulation of it's either Melissa or me, and she went missing the same day. The only person who can ever vouch that is Nicole.
Yeah.
Is Nicole.
That's the problem, is that this best friend has stayed close to the family and is even the family picked spokesperson. She's been the one that does all the articles, the news interviews. She's been the one to do it all. So she actually has called herself to me the family spokesperson. Wow. Now I asked Janet, the aunt, I'm like, so why do you trust Nicole so much? Did you always trust her like you do today? Help me understand, why do you have that trust in her when I'm seeing all these red flags? And she said they didn't always trust her.
Oh, see, and I've always been kind of under the impression, and I've always been under the impression, and kind of under the believing that Nicole is actually one of the ones who was not very well liked. Nicole was actually quite an ignorant bully to a lot of people back in the day. And it's already been proven by the way she tries to lead this investigation. Like, you've seen it yourself, Shar. As soon as you put attention towards Sam and Thomas, look how aggressive she was towards you.
Yeah.
So, you know, the thing that you would have to try to dictate is, you know, what had her out of, because I guess the way I'm understanding it is during the disappearance, she wasn't well favored. And then at some point she worked her way back in. So
Yeah.
what?
So
Yeah.
at some point she gained that family trust and everything.
Right. So what
and
did she do at first that had her in the bad? Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What
Well,
did
and
she
the thing
do-
that, oh, sorry, Ben, sorry, keep going.
What did she do to lose their respect? And then what did she have to do in order to gain it back? Those are two major events. They're not processes, they're events.
I think I can answer that question, and I think we all already know the answer to that question. It was a proven fact that Courtney used to constantly run away with Nicole.
Yep, that's true.
So Nicole
Constantly
was the enabler.
ran away with Nicole. Nicole was the scapegoat, the friend that, hey, I'm taking off, I need you. Nicole was there. And Nicole even admitted it multiple times in her interview that, yeah, Courtney used to take off with her all the time.
They did drugs, Tiffany. They did drugs. I have Nicole admitting that they would do weed together, her and Courtney drinking. They would do drugs and drinking and hang out at a veterinary clinic, and where they had access to veterinary tools, animal drugs, like all this stuff. So I actually think that there was a party happening and that something happened to Courtney and they all covered it up and a bunch of kids scared. And that's why, because why else would they ride so hard for each other? Now, Sam will only email me. He will not do an interview or anything like that.
Yeah, he won't call. He won't Facebook Messenger, no nothing. It's really, really shady emails.
Nicole kept telling me, oh, Sam's going to email you. Sam will email you. I don't know if he'll interview, but I think he'll email you. And sure as shit, I get an email from Sam. But the way the email is broken down, Sam did not send me that email. I don't believe for 1 minute that came from Sam because of the wording and how it's broken down. I do 100% believe that you, Nicole, sent me that email in Sam's name.
So now we have the issue where we've got two women we've got one woman in KENDRA who has epilepsy. Allegedly. She was there, but doesn't remember. Then we have Nicole, who was never there, but now she was there. And then we have two other people in Thomas and in Sam who both have juvenile charges from around the same arena of time when Courtney goes missing, that are in regards to the grandmother. And we're not talking about stealing out of her purse.
No, we're talking robbery. We are talking all-out assault robbery, where most people probably would have done some fucking serious jail time.
Yeah, so I mean, Bobby said it. So essentially, Thomas and Sam attacked their grandmother. So you've got four people here in Thomas, Sam, KENDRA, and Nicole that are all very, very bad singularly, seemingly. But then you put them all together and you throw Courtney in the mix, and then you say, what happened? Well, I think it's pretty clear what happened, isn't it?
Yep. This, like I said, this whole situation really doesn't make any sense. And like, there's a lot of other things that we still got to touch base on. Like I told you guys, I was flat out told by the barhead RCMP, I'm not going to throw the two cops under the bus for it, but I'm pretty sure in time they will happily come forward and say the exact same thing and vouch and confirm my story, because I can't be charged because you have to be able to prove what I'm saying is lies. And that is the fact that they had lied about polygraph tests.
And when I say, you know, my last statement, you know, you can see what it is. I don't mean anything specifically other than we have some people that are lying. You can see definitely
that's what I was going to touch. That's what I was going to touch base off is everybody's lying about these polygraphs. Now, to bring up another interesting point that I was told by the RCMP, it's a proven fact that friends of Courtney's and friends of Mark and Melissa's were phoning in, giving bullshit police statements of sightings and shit like that of Courtney.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This is a proven fact. Okay. At one point, somebody had made a dummy account Facebook claiming to be Courtney, claiming that they were fine and they were in Barhead with Mark. Now, what blows my mind and creeps me out the most about that, and Mark can vouch this, if that was true, holy fuck, man, I'd have been the first one on the phone with the fucking cops. I was in the living room.
Right. That would have put you in the middle of it too.
Right? Like I would have been right then and there, because when it happened, I was in the living room. I'd have been standing right there with my jaw on the floor like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah.
Like, but the fact that it was looked into and it came back to the fact that, and like I said, I'm not going to throw the cops under the bus. It was proven to be friends of Mark and Melissa that had claimed they were having a personal beef and issues with Mark and Melissa, and that's why it was done. Was to get back at them allegedly.
Mm-hmm.
Now, something about that sounds like a complete and total load of bullshit. I think somebody did that to try to cover up something and try to start a fight, and that's what had happened.
So what we also have to realize, now I don't know too terribly much about the Canadian juvenile system, but I know they have one, and I know that just about every civilized country, we have what's called a statute of limitations. So at some point, everyone being adults now, this is the thing that we have to bear in mind, is that even if we find out who the perpetrators, the offenders are, we still have a great propensity of coming up against some sort of juvenile hamstring that's going to be like, well, this happened when people were minors and now they're adults now. And so that completely changes the scope.
I was told the same thing, and I was kind of under the impression, because like we said, you and I have discussed this before.
Yeah.
U.S. law and Canadian laws are very different.
Correct.
Very different. If you get life in the U.S., you are doing life till the day you die in jail. Right. If you get life in Canada, it's like they say in Canada, that's why a lot of guys prefer to do crime here, because eventually you have a day that you're walking out that door.
It's never forever.
Yeah, it's never forever. The only way you get forever in Canada is if you get what they call a DO status, which is a dangerous offender. Then they have the legal given right to keep you in jail. You go up in like front of board meetings and stuff like that, and they determine if you're safe to put back in the community or not. And 90% of the time, that don't happen.
Even my dad didn't get that.
Yeah. And like, so, you have to have a nasty record, done some pretty crazy shit to get that.
And so, I guess that's, I want to take a second, if I can, just to appeal to whomever was involved in the disappearance or the abduction of Courtney Struble. If we have talked to you and you were a minor when this took place, you will still have a life. You can still, there's a great chance that you would never do any time in prison. We would just be able to bring this girl home. Like, it's bigger than you. It's bigger than Estevan. Like, bring Courtney home, right? It's, if you did something when you were a minor, you are gonna be okay. Let me just, I hate to say
mail a letter, like Bobby said, a letter
exactly.
that's anonymous or something. Have your neighbor lick it shut or something. I don't know, but there's ways that to at least let.
That's what I mean by like nowadays standards. You can literally walk into a fucking dollar store for $1.25, buy a package of already ready to rock friggin' envelopes that are dated, everything on them. All you'd have to do is write on there some coordinates. This is where you're going to find her. Done. You don't even have to lick the envelope. You pull off a piece of tape, you shut it, you're done.
That's it. So, that just appeal to what you would want in, if your sister or your daughter or your niece, if they went missing, right? How would you want it to look after 17 years? You certainly would not want birthdays and Christmases and all these, major events that should be happening in Courtney's life, that everyone has missed a chance to partake in with her and enjoy those moments, right? Like, that part is gone, but we can still bring her home, and you can still have you can have the semblance of a life, right? You can do the right thing, you can pay the piper, and then 5 years you'll be back out.
Well, and that's what I mean. Like I said right from the word go, I don't think people realize, because like everybody thinks jail, they panic, oh, I'm going to lose the rest of my life, stuff like that. The area I'm in, no word of a lie, I'm by Medicine Hat. The area I'm in, a girl and her boyfriend murdered her family. Okay? This was a popular case. I can't remember the girl's name, but if you look it up, the murders in Medicine Hat, it comes up right away. Okay? This girl killed her mom, her dad, and her very, very young brother. Has a new name, a new life, everything, because she put everything on her boyfriend, and I don't even think she was in jail for 5 years. This is for taking the lives of 3 people.
Wow. Wow.
Like,
Yeah,
I
like
really?
think that this was an accident. I think kids had an accident.
Yep.
And I think that even if you just somehow found a way to anonymously say where Courtney is so that we can put her to rest and put closure to the case, I think that whoever's involved, even just if Courtney's family got closure and Courtney was buried properly, I think that whoever was involved would also
Have some
feel
closure.
like
You
cleansed
got to
of
think the
this in a
amount of
way.
grief this is on somebody after 17 years. I
Yeah,
don't
how
care
can
who
you
you
live
are,
with
unless you are
yourself?
cold-blooded, messed in the head. How do
Yeah.
you deal with the fact that you've done this and been living with this for 17 years? Like, I don't care who you are, man. This has got to eat at people. I ran over a cat and felt like shit for about a year.
Yeah. Yes.
You know, I'm a farm kid. We used to see this shit all the time. But 17 years, you took a 13-year-old girl's life and absolutely no remorse, no nothing, not even a glimmer of hope in 17 years? Come on. Like, I think that's my biggest issue with the whole situation, you know,
just for the ones that are listening, and you know, if you're involved, like, listen, you were able to evade detection for this long, so it you know, it's nothing to turn over where her body is and keep running like you are now successfully, right? Where this part isn't about getting justice. We want her home, and then we can figure out the justice part, right?
Yeah. Well, and to put rest to one theory, like I said, I know a lot of people have done I still want to have hope that after 17 years, I wanted the exact same thing, man. I truly and 110% wanted to believe, hey, maybe Courtney just got sick and tired of the fighting with Melissa. She got sick and tired of the fighting with her mom, was tired of all the bullshit. Maybe the reason why all the friends are acting sketchy and doing what they're doing is because maybe Courtney did take off and they're all lying and trying to cover for her. Here's the problem.
That would be awesome.
17 years. She was pretty close from what I've told to her brother Shadow. Shadow's got kids now. You wouldn't want to meet your fucking nieces and nephews and stuff like that.
You know that there's been deaths in the family. There's been other things that she would have wanted to have been there for.
She was really close to her grandparents, okay? Her Aunt Lonnie died, which was Mark's sister. Her uncle or her grandpa, like Mark's dad died. Her grandpa Dennis died. They were close. Mark even said so herself at one point. Courtney wanted to go and stay with them. Yeah. And
so
the fact that you weren't even involved in any of that, I hate to say it, but we all know what happened.
Yeah. Yeah. You got to just come forward and do the right thing.
Bobby, everyone's loving your interview, so we definitely have to get you up here again whenever you're free. But I want to end this one with you.
Okay.
The people that are listening, like I've asked everyone else in every other interview, what do you have to say to the person or persons that, I guess at this point, killed your cousin, Courtney Struble?
Yeah. Well, and my thing is like I said, and I've said before with this, is it's been 17 years. Like straight out, it's been 17 years. Give us a glimmer, a bit of hope, like something. It's after 17 years of being avoided, not being caught. You're either a professional who's done this more than once, or this was an accident that's trying to be covered up. So go. I know there's dollar stores all over Estevan. I know there's post office. There's all kinds of stuff. You don't even have to go that route. You can take a piece, if I'm not mistaken, of loose leaf paper, write down everything, give a location, and if I'm not mistaken, a lot of police stations have those drop boxes. You can drop that bitch in there and walk away.
You could give that note to anybody and walk away.
Exactly. Like, you don't even have to go into the police station, man. You can go to a garage sale, pick up a disconnected cell phone, hit 911, cover your voice, admit to everything and where we could find her, throw the phone out and done. Nobody would ever know.
Yep.
Nobody would ever know.
Never.
Like, and it's the fact that it's been 17 years. Everybody's stories keep changing. Everybody's stories keep lying, keep pulling crap. And then as soon as they get questioned, it's, oh, well, I'm done talking to you because you're not seeing things my way. No, I'm not tunnel visioned where this is how it is, plain and simple. I keep my eyes open. I pay attention to a lot of things, like I said. And Shar, you guys have all noticed. I bounce back and forth between interviews. I cross-reference everything. I look into absolutely everything that comes out of everybody's mouth because of the fact I believe I missed my calling in life on being a cop. I chose the wrong path in life. I pay attention to a lot of things. And the fact that nothing has ever been done about this is wrong. You know what I mean? Like 17 years and absolutely nothing has been done about this. This is so wrong.
You guys keep mentioning how you guys love Bobby. He's so passionate about this case. I have to tell you, when Bobby found out who I was, like, I guess Nicole had told him to reach out to me right away. Like, Bobby was like, who the hell are you? Like, this is very weird to me because people don't really just come in here. Like, it was weird for him to have some YouTuber come and take his cousin's case after 17 years. So he was like on my ass, like, who are you? I'm sorry, but I'm calling the police. Like, do they know you're doing this? Like, he was on my ass to make sure I was legit and checking me out and all of that.
Yeah. Well, because like I said, I didn't want this, and let's quote Nicole and Sergeant Donna there, or whatever's exact same quote that they like to share with each other, which I always found very suspicious. I don't want this to turn into a wild unicorn chase.
Yeah.
This has been 17 years. This is enough. This is a 13-year-old girl who would be 30 years old. And if anybody thinks about it, like, I have a sister who just turned 31. If I'm not mistaken, Courtney would just be turning 31 here soon too.
Yep.
So that's why it's kind of near and dear to me, because if something ever happened to my little sister, buddy, it would be a very, very different conversation than me working with YouTubers to try to find it out. You know what I mean? Because, like, it's never, ever made any sense to me how 17 years, Saskatchewan is not a big province, okay? Like, no offense to anybody, it's not a big province. You take the 3 major cities of Saskatchewan, they're not even equal out to the population of Edmonton. Okay? So, for the fact for 17 years for this to, like I said, I hate to use, like, the punctuation to it, but for it to constantly be swept under the rug and punked off is a really big piss off. It's bullshit in my opinion. The fact that I took over a year to even get a message back from Donna, and the message I got back from her was, oh, sorry about that. You know, we're just so busy here. You're so busy that it took you a year to call me back, and you didn't even call me back. I had to go to your corporal. Like, and like I said, when I get that thing, Char, I'll show you guys happily. I'll put it online, no problem. But I am going to file a grievance with the Estevan police because I don't think what they're doing is right. I've heard now from lawyers and multiple other people in the legal profession that allowing witnesses to go over their statements on a homicide investigation is coercing a witness. And the reason why a lot of investigators do that process and don't allow people to go over their statements is because people have been caught lying years later that has been detrimental to the changing of cases. You know what I mean? Like, you can't turn around after 17 years. Nobody else can meet up and read their statements, but this chick will come to you, no problem, and let you go over your stuff. That seems very strange to me.
Oh my goodness. Well, we're going to end this one for tonight, but we definitely want, oh my goodness. Luca, you're so cute. We definitely need to get you back up here, Bobby. And I don't know if anyone will ever like call in again, but there's still, I mean, there's still a lot to talk about in this. Like you said, it's been 17 years, and now we definitely, I think you guys can see why we waited for Bobby's interview and pushed it off as long as we could.
Yeah,
because we
it's
knew
a lot to process.
Yeah, it's a lot, but we also knew that it was kind of going to flip everything upside down. So now we're going to have Bobby up here again because there's a few questions in here. I see some of you asking a question about another case, and we're not going to get there tonight. So it's been over 2 hours now. But Bobby, thank you for doing this. I know you had some
Yeah, you bet.
anxiety and you've been anxious. And as soon as you're ready to get back up here again, we'll plan it out because I know there's
Oh,
still
definitely.
more
Like
stuff
I said,
you wanted
'cause-
to touch on too.
yeah, there's a few other things, like I said, but it's in the course of the year of me doing all this, like I said, it's a lot to try to cover over this short amount of time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's one of those type thing, like a person should almost be at a table with a bunch of people going over the facts, because there's a lot of facts that are lies and a lot of facts out in the public that are not facts at all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, like there's a lot of things that we touched base with on tonight. And I know Nicole and Mark are probably quite mad about it, but hey, man, I'm putting it out there and the facts are the facts. You know, like if you don't like it, by all means, you're more than welcome to come on. You're more than welcome to tell people how it is. But not one thing I've said tonight has been untrue, and I have the facts and people to back it.
I think Mark, when he listens back to this, will be okay. He was a little upset at first, but I just told him, hey, listen, like, ride it out. I know what you've heard the last, decade, but he doesn't feel necessarily the same today. And he said, okay,
Yeah.
just not tonight. He just couldn't do it tonight, but he said, okay. But yeah, he'll listen back. He hasn't missed a damn thing
Yeah.
about his daughter.
Well,
Again,
and that's-
Bobby, thank you. And yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, and like I said, that's that's something else that I kind of wanted to touch base on, is the fact that Nicole, the police, everybody had said flat out, Mark has never really had anything to do with this. It's a proven fact. Mark was big time involved with this right from the word go, up until the exact moment they kept trying to flip everything and say it was Mark.
Yeah.
And the fact that Donna turned around and claimed, oh, well, I've tried to contact Mark and Melissa multiple times, and I never get anything back. But you don't even know how to contact them. You don't even know where they were, know nothing. And the fact that it took you a year just to return my phone call, and the only reason why you did is because your corporal iPhone and filed a complaint.
Mm.
Are you actually doing an investigation, or are they just trying to cover up what really happened that night because they don't want to look bad that a bunch of kids did some pretty sinister stuff, and going to make them look really bad that this went on for as long as it did?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it happens all the time. And yeah, like I said, okay, granted, yes, Mark and them had their own things on the go. There was other illegal stuff on the go at the time. That's already been established. This is more than likely why Mark had said he wanted a lawyer. There was other criminal matters on the go at the time. It wasn't just his missing daughter. There was drug involvement. There was weapon involvement. There was other shit on the go, not just his missing daughter. So yeah, no offense, but if you pulled me in to do a polygraph test and started asking me a bunch of questions that had nothing to do with my daughter, I might want to jump out of the conversation as well, because I'm not going to implicate myself on other stuff that makes me look guilty on everything.
That's fact.
Mm-hmm.
And, if they were bringing in questions from other stuff into the polygraphs, like, yeah, I get it. If they're asking you about drug stuff during your daughter's polygraph, yeah, you might say, this is enough, I'm done.
Yeah. And like I said, and I 110% sharp plan on showing you the exact second I get some sort of written paperwork back from the Estevan police about me filing a grievance. Because like I said, something about this does not make any sense. I've talked to judges. I've talked to lawyers. Anybody is welcome to phone up a lawyer and ask them, maybe they can get some proper or better leeway on it. But my lawyer, like I said, her name is Erica Gauchi out of Calgary. She's an amazing lawyer. And she told me flat out to go and file a grievance and get something in writing, because she's been a lawyer a long time. And she has never, ever, ever heard of anybody being allowed to do that in an open homicide investigation.
Mm-hmm.
So that, in my opinion alone, shows me all kinds of red flags. The fact that, and then you turn around and you try to justify it by saying, oh, well, these are just YouTubers, Bobby, be careful. They're only doing this to try to make some money. You need thousands of followers, and I mean thousands of followers, to make money on YouTube.
Yeah.
Okay, like, it's not like you're making you're not multimillionaires doing your thing, because if you were multimillionaires doing your thing, you wouldn't be on YouTube anymore.
Right.
You know, like,
Yeah.
no offense, I don't care what anybody says. If you were a multimillionaire from doing this YouTube thing, you'd have done a couple videos, been like, yeah, here's my money, have a great day.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like,
no, I think I'm the one, everyone's done an article or two and then kind of dipped.
yep.
Well, Bobby, thanks again, and I'll be
Yeah, you
texting you
bet, guys.
tomorrow, and we'll plan another show with you for sure. Everybody loves hearing from you. And I told
Okay, perfect.
Bobby, because he's been digging into this case, like I didn't ask him to. He just started to. As soon as he heard that I was digging around in it, he wanted to find out who the hell I was, and then he started saying, "Whoa, I'm hearing different things already. This is not good." And he just texted me yesterday. He went through all the interviews and had it streaming from his TV, sitting down with his notebooks. Like, he's serious. So I think he should start a YouTube channel. And then
Well, and like I said, and like I told you guys, and you guys have noticed, like I said, even in Mark's interviews, I will literally watch one interview, catch something, I will pause that interview, I will go onto my phone, watch a different interview, and be like, hey, well, that's not what you said here. Mark this down. This is the time. This is when this happened. That's what I do, because it's not making sense. And the fact that everybody's story in this case has changed drastically and so friggin' much, it doesn't make sense. Either something really bad and sinister happened that night, or my cousin legitimately is the ultimate professional at hiding in 17 years that anybody has ever seen.
Yeah.
You know, like, it makes absolutely no sense. The fact that none of your friends, none of your family know nothing, your brother who's got kids, you wouldn't reach out to that, your grandpa dying, any of that, you wouldn't reach out for any of this stuff. It makes absolutely no sense. Because at 18 years old, Courtney could have. What? Sorry?
Yep, like you were just saying, if she was getting beat as a child and ran away, well, when she was an adult, she could have reached out. Her brother and her were best friends. And
that's what I have heard from everybody, dude, as her and Shadow were extremely close.
And she would always let Shadow know that she was okay if she did take off.
Yeah.
And there's been no word to her brother Shadow. So, well, Benny, we love you. It was good to see you tonight, and definitely, Bobby, we're gonna plan to get you back up here soon, because we still have a lot of things to touch on, and it's a lot. It goes deep, and it's a lot.
Yeah. Like I said, there's still so many other things like we never even touched on. But yeah, like I fully, it's getting late here, and I got to get my kid to bed here soon, or he'll just be a terrorist all night. So.
All right. Well, I'll hit you up tomorrow. Thanks again, Benny. We love you. And all right, everyone in chat, thank you so much for being here and listening tonight, and for keeping it actually very respectful in the chat. I appreciate that very much. And also, I'm very proud of the true crime community tonight, because we had 240 people in here at most, an average of about 200 throughout the entire night. And for a high profile case, that is amazing. So I'm proud of all of you guys for giving 2 hours away from drama and actually trying to make a difference. It's not just me, so thank you to all you guys too.
Amen.
Any last words, baby?
Y'all are awesome. Keep being you. Look at you. You're just killing it.
I don't think we can say killing it on true crime.
I said it.
All right. Well, we love you guys. Let's see the chat flooded with those green and blue hearts. There's a lot we didn't cover, so just imagine that after tonight. But thank you. And yes, I know Bobby was walking around and making people dizzy, but he's never done this before. This was his first time, and so the anxiety and everything. So
I do that all the time too.
Yeah, so do I, but I usually have my camera off. But he's been very anxious for tonight. So yeah, definitely a part 2. So again, everyone have a great night. I'm very proud of all of you guys for being here and helping to try and find answers and closure on this case. So love everyone.